everybody, Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, and this is inning 2 of Fall Classic Baseball. It's 1980. It's Detroit at Oakland. And in the top of the second, we had a couple of hits, but KINGMAN was able to get out of the inning just like we predicted. KINGMAN had a real rough start where I was rolling nothing but doubles, so he couldn't help but getting into trouble. I think I rolled a 31 as well, and I rolled a couple of walks, a hit by pitch, so just everything went against him. But he settled down in the top of the second inning. Here we go to the bottom of the second inning. It's going to be Newman, Heath, and Guerrero. The way you play Fall Classic Baseball is first you read off the batter, then he goes to the pitcher if indicated. And we're going to read the green and then the gold for the Oakland Athletics. That's my replay. And then, of course, the D20 will give us other information as we go. All right, so this is, I guess, part 2 or inning 2 of Fall Classic Baseball. So here goes. It is WILCOX on the mound facing Jeff Newman. That's a 61, and that's going to be a blank off Newman, as you can see. So both pitchers are beat pitchers we rolled at the beginning. It gives you numbers here to roll, and then it tells you where you're going to be. Both pitchers are in the middle column, and that 61 is going to be a strikeout. And Milt Wilcox struck out only 97 in 200 innings, so he's not going to get a lot of strikeouts in general. This is his second one of the day. Next up is Mike Heath. He's the catcher. And one thing with the catchers, you always want to take a look at their arm strength, because that's going to, he has an S, and an S is a strong arm. We'll give a -2 to stolen bases. I play the auto steals. That makes my life much easier. Whenever you see a plus sign, that's going to be a stolen base attempt. 36, that's a blank. I'm going to go to 36. It's an out. What kind of an out? That 12 tells us it's a pop-up. Who's a pop-up to? And I've memorized that. There's 12 is a pop-up, and it's a pop-up to 6, which is the middle infielder, shortstop, near the bag. And he puts it away for out number 2. So that's a pop 6. And then here comes Mario Guerrero, shortstop. Not a great shortstop. He's got an arm, a weak arm, so he doesn't turn a lot of double plays, unfortunately. He'll get some, but not as many as a strong-armed shortstop would. So you got individual ratings, you got error, arm strength, range, which is pretty amazing that this game includes all that. And it's really seamless. All right, so 2 outs, and here goes the pitch to Guerrero, and that's going to be a 62, which that's usually an out number. It's a blank. We go to 62, and that's a 1-2. It's a split 1-2 strikeout, but no. We got an 11, so that's just going to be a regular out. And what kind of an out is that going to be? Well, the 11. Well, we actually, in theory, we should roll again, because the first roll was to see if it was going to be a strikeout. The second roll, it tells us it's to the pitcher. That 1 tells us to the pitcher, and that retires the side. So 3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the second. The score is 6-2. And I want to do one more half inning. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this innings 2 and 3, because I want to just make these videos of 1 inning or 2 innings. So let's. I can do a little bit more before I go to work. It's going to be John Wackenfuss against Brian KINGMAN. Now we want to squeeze a couple innings out of KINGMAN, because even though he got into trouble, he can still go until he allows 7 runs. Then he becomes shelled, and then everything in column 56 becomes, I think, a single. Everything here becomes a walk, and everything here becomes a single. Just a nightmare. So you definitely don't want to allow a shell pitcher to pitch. So here's walking this, and that's a 35. A 35 is a blank, and we go to a 35 under B, and that will be an out. A 16, which is anything with a 6 is a grounded short. picked up by Mario Mendoza, and he throws out Walkenfuss with plenty of time. Walkenfuss does not run particularly well in general, although sometimes a catcher could be fast depending on his runs scored. He's an average speed catcher. All right, so here's Tom Brookins. Tom Brookins had a bases clearing double in that first inning, that big 6-run first inning. And it's a 45. 45 will be a blank, so we look at Kingman's 45, and it's an out. What kind of an out? An 11. That will be a grounder. Again, I memorized that number. There's a couple numbers you have to memorize. The other ones just tell you directly. So an 11 will be a ground ball to third. The 5 tells you it's the third base. And that's 2 outs, and here comes Lou Whitaker, who singled and picked up an RBI in that first inning. He just bats from the left side. And it's a 25. A 25, as you can see, is an out. And there's an 8 there, so it's a fly ball in the gap. After it is Murphy, and Murphy runs it down to retire the side. All right, so let's finish up the third inning. So that's no runs, no hits. Easy inning for Kingman. And the Kingman, by the way, has gotten off to an excellent start. His ERA is lower than it actually was. It's around 3. His actual ERA was around 3.80, but it's hard to replicate ERAs. What's easier to do is replicate the WHIP. And that's what this game particularly goes for WHIP, because they know that ERA is, there's so many factors that come into ERA. All right, Jeff Cox. A pitch from Milt Wilcox. And it's a 25, and that's going to be an out. What kind of an out? Well, I don't know. Did you learn that already? It says 6 there, so it's going to be a grounded to short. And gloved by Trammell, and he throws out. Oh, darn, put in the wrong spot. He throws out Wilcox. All right, Ricky Henderson's up. Ricky Henderson was hit by a pitch, stole a base, reached third on an error by the catcher. And it's a 35. 35 is a blank. We go with 35. It's an out. It's a grounder to 4. Just change that 6 to a 4. There we go. And now with 2 outs, we go to Dwayne Murphy. Murphy struck out his first at bat. Here's a pitch. And that's going to be a 22. That's usually a hit number, but in this case, it's going to be a walk number with 2 pluses, and I'll show you how to do that. So it's a walk, reaches base on balls, and now he's going to try to steal second. Now, the way I do it is I already rolled. I did not use the D20, so there he goes. The throw down from the catcher, Walkenfuss, the tag, and he is out, because I know that that's a very high number, and his base stealing number is 13. And regardless of what the catcher's arm is, good or bad, which could change that 13, the best it'll make it is 15. The worst it'll make it is 11. This is an out. And, actually, you know what? I'm glad I remembered. This is actually a pickoff. All right, that's a pickoff. And see if I have my pickoff card here, so I don't have to pull the chart. Hit and run. I don't know that. Oh, wait, here's my other card. I think this is the pickoff card. Let's see, base stealing. Here it is, pickoff attempt. All right, let's look at the arm of the 18 to 20, I believe, is a pickoff, I believe. We got to double check that. But I know 20 is for sure, so we're going to check the arm strength. It's a strong arm, so a strong arm pitcher. That has to do with his pickoff ability. 1 to 8, he's picked off. 9 to 17, he's safe. 18 to 20 is a throwing error. Okay, so the 20 is a pickoff, I believe, and then the 18 to 20 on the second time we roll will be the potential throwing error. So this is super simple. Let's just roll 1d20, and it's a 20, so it's going to be a throwing error. So now we're going to roll against the throwing error of the pitcher, which is a 20, so that's an automatic error. And if the error, runner to second, F exclamation point to third, all other runners score. So it's going to be throwing error, and Murphy will go hustle over to second base. So it's going to be an E1 All right, so Wayne Gross now with Murphy at second base. Oh, and we also get a chance to steal third because remember I had 2 plus signs on that. So let's get Murphy here again. I had 2 plus signs wherever that was, 22 I believe it was. So now I can try to steal third. Again, I want to roll, and let's check out Walkenfuss's arm rating is a W. So we're going to go, it's going to be a +2. That's a weak arm, so it's going to be a 15. 15 or less. There he goes. The third down from Walkenfuss, and he is safe. Now that could be an error, and it will not be. Okay, 1 to 2 I think is his error rating. So he steals third. So Billy Ball. All right, down by 4 runs, and they're running like the wind. All right, so it's Wayne Gross now with a runner at third base. So the Billy Ball, makes it interesting. It was a walk, it was a pickoff attempt, and then an error, and then of course it was a stolen base of third. And here comes Wayne Gross. And that's a 41. That's usually a walk number. It's a blank, and it will be a walk number. Back-to-back walks. Puts runners on first and third. So the tying run is on deck now, and here comes Tony Armas. Tony Armas hit his, he's a team leader in home runs, probably the 17th or 18th of the year. He hit 35 that season, so works out about right. And here he comes. Swings from the right side. And WILCOX sets and deals, and that's going to be a 43, which will be an out, kind of an out. Well, he's a righty, so the 5 tells you it's pulled down the line to the third baseman, who goes to second. 5 to 4, and it's a fielder's choice, and that retires the side. I could have made it 5 to 3. I mean, I don't keep track of that, so it doesn't really matter. All right, and Mitchell Page will be pitching, will be batting in the bottom of the 4th. So that was no runs, no hits, a couple of left, the 2 walks, and it's still 6 to 2. We're going to the top of the 4th, and I will continue this later on. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, and it's a great game. Take care.